For millions of us, he may still be Easy Rider's Captain America, but Academy Award nominee Peter Fonda has spent the last 3 decades as a working actor in motion pictures such as diverse as Wanda, Nevada, Escape from L.A., and the critically acclaimed picture this year for which he was an Academy Award nominee, Yuli's Gold. His new autobiography is called Don't Tell Dad, and I'm pleased to welcome Peter Fonda back to CBS. Don't Tell Dad My Foot, huh? You looked so good Oscar night. You had a smile on your face, and I know you didn't take home the statue, and I felt that the word comeback was terribly overused because, in my view, you've never been away.
Well, you know, if Hollywood wants to see me as the comeback kid, I can handle that role.
Okay.
It's not a problem.
Okay.
And it's not like I lost. Jack got the nomination,
right.
Got the nod. They can't unnominate me. So I was thrilled for Jack. He's an old pal.
I know he is. You two go way back, don't you?
Yeah. And I think he was the first, if you can think of Hollywood type. Jack would be laughing if he's listening to it, but he's got a cold at home now. He was the first Hollywood type that I met. Wonderful man. In fact, I watched him decide not to continue acting.
There was a time when he was so far down on his luck that he almost packed it in, left acting.
He had done some work. He wrote a couple of movies and worked in for Monty Hellman, Ride the Whirlwind and The Shooting. And they were good, but they didn't get a market. But it showed the promise that was there for Jack. And Jack, by the time we got Easy Rider up, had stopped acting. He was writing and producing, that was it. And by the luck of the draw, we got him to play George Hansen.
By the luck of the draw, I would think that at that particular point in his career, Jack Nicholson was eager to join the cast of Easy Rider. And then he would go on to great success in 5 Easy Pieces, huh?
Well, you see, he found his voice and his character on screen. He found his persona on screen with that part. And I know, having done this book now, what it was to find my voice on the page. You and I can talk and tell stories and be really cool, but we can't do this just talking into a tape recorder and have it transcribed. It doesn't work that way.
True.
So I found my voice on the page. Now I have a great respect for the novelists who do fictional writing. I didn't have to think about what my characters do. I know what they did. I know the plots and all that stuff. Jack had to find his voice. And I think he got that bug again when he did George Hansen. He was brilliant in that role.
He sure was. He sure
got
was.
nominated for that
I can't believe that Jack didn't say the other night, and by the way, were it not for Peter Fonda and a picture called Easy Rider many, many years ago, I might well not be standing here tonight. I didn't hear those words coming out of Jack's mouth.
No, but I'm on Jack's yes list. That's the good place to be with Jack.
What was the general reaction to Billy Crystal? I thought Billy Crystal was outstanding as host of that show.
Oh, we thought he was wonderful.
Yeah, funny at the beginning.
Yeah, everybody. It was wonderful the way he did his. There was a lead-in short that was hysterical, where he's in everybody's film. It was just great. Now, I like Billy. I was really thrilled for Robin Williams. I really, I wanted. I can say this now. I wanted Robert Forster. But Robin's a dear friend, and very rarely do we honor our funny men.
This is true. You don't see comedic performances or people who are known for comedy rewarded with an Academy Award nomination, let alone the Oscar.
And I was so happy for him. Everybody would say, "You're such a good sport." I said, "Well, we're not up here against each other.
Yeah, right.
We're all up here together. One of us is going to get the statue. The others, we're still winners. We got picked by actors."
Yeah, it's funny because the public perceives this as a competition, and that there are winners and losers, and the people who are in the competition truly don't see it that way at all. I mean,
I've run into a few of them who, if it's not winning, is awful, and I'm thinking, God, they missed the whole point.
Yeah. Let me get to this book here, Don't Tell Dad. You tell some wonderful stories in this book, and you write very candidly and quite touchingly about the time that you met a woman named Becky, who was to play a very important role in your life.
Oh, talk about sublimating. Now, I met her. I talked to her on the phone without knowing. I just knew this voice. And I met her at a time when I was alone. I was divorced and had been away, been a single man for a while. Not that I didn't enjoy the status, but I don't like being alone. Mm-hmm. And she was married to a writer, Thomas McGuane, who had written 92 in the Shade. And because I said yes, Tom got to direct it. And I saw her.
And where did you see her?
Down at Key West. Yeah. I drove down from L.A., and I went down there, and I had a beard. I grew my hair long and grew a beard just to mess with Tom McGuane's mind. And I hennaed it. I put henna tea in it. It got really flaming red. Then I jumped in my little sports car and drove down there and ran into her. She never knew it was me because of the beard and the hair. And whatever it was, I sublimated. I met her son, Thomas, who has now been my stepson 23 years plus, and who will make me a real grandfather this summer.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, right. And I knew right away where he was. I loved him. I knew how smart he was. He and I just locked up together nicely. And I didn't have any fantasies about Becky. One night, though, towards the beginning of the film, we had a kind of a kickoff party at the other side of the duplex that I was sharing with Michael Butler, the cinematographer. And Becky was there in the kitchen. She's a short gal. She's 4'11". And she was just leaning against the wall, and I came up to her, and this is not characteristic of me at all. I said, I don't care what anybody says, and I kissed her. And I was, oh,
just right there,
and I ran away.
Right?
I literally ran away, ran to my side of the duplex, and didn't know where did that come from. It's just not one of my MOs. Another time, as at the end of the shoot, we were all out doing a shot for me and Warren driving by a camera on a boat. So that means everybody's in little skiffs in shallow water. There's 20 of them out there, and we have to wait 45 minutes. Just hurry up and wait. Sun has to be in a
right,
special
had
place.
to wait for the light, wait for the jet to pass, wait and all that.
Everybody is doing something. They're swimming. Me and Oates can't because we're going to be on film. And I saw, oh, it's a walkie-talkie. So I picked it up and I started playing. I said, Miami approach control, Delta 55350 with Bravo. And nothing happened. And I repeated it.
You have to be careful when you do that.
Miami approach, Delta 55350 heavy with Bravo. Still no answer. Finally, I said, Miami approach control, this is Delta Flight 55. I am heavy. I have information, Bravo. How copy over? And somebody came back, Roger, 55, turn right heading 180, maintain 250, you're following the TriStar. I said, somebody knows the lingo. Well, and then I was Air Cuba defecting, Air Afrique trying to learn how to fly, Air France refusing to land the White Trash Miami, you know, just having a fun time. I didn't realize McGuane needed to be the center of attention at all times. So he picked up the radio and tried to be a plane landing at Miami approach. He crashed. And I don't know where it came from. I picked up the radio. I said, listen, McGuane, if you're not careful, I'm going to end up with your son and your wife. And I dropped the radio, the hot potato. I felt it in my hand. It was, I don't know how hot it got, but it was, boy. And 3 boats nearby, people said, what did you say? I said, I don't know. I don't know. Where did it come from?
Yeah, the old Peter Fonda cop-out. I don't know. Where did that come from?
I didn't know where it came from. I swear to God, no dreams, no fantasies, nothing. January 14th or 13th, Warren Oates and I were shooting another film so we could make some money. And Warren said, Tom and Becky are getting divorced. I picked up the phone, said, now's not a good time to be alone. I'm sending a plane to pick you up. How can you say no, you know? And so I had her flown up to San Antonio. I used a cop's phone, a highway phone, to make the call, by the way, because I had a charge number for highway operators. In those days, we didn't have cells. And
well,
I had the,
wait. Where would you get the highway patrolman's charge number?
I had a charge number.
Oh, okay.
A highway telephone operator charge number. And I used his phone. I just used my number. Right. But he was listening to me, and I said, I'm calling Davy Crockett's great-great-great-granddaughter. Great-great-great-great-granddaughter. 4 grades. He said, really? I said, absolutely. And this is where Davy bit the big one. She's going to come up here, and I want to make something special for her. What's the best hotel and best room in town? He told me. I said, okay, would you call your wife or somebody who's got a wife, if you don't have one, and help me get every yellow rose you can find in San Antonio? Well, of course, that just spread through, and they call them constables out there, sheriff's constables. That spread through all the police units, and all the wives of the policemen thought that was the coolest thing.
How many yellow roses turned up?
Well, it was enough to cover everything, the bed, the vanities.
The room.
The room was covered with, I mean, the floors, they were in vases, they were just on floors, in drawers, you pull them out. See, yellow rose is, of course, the yellow rose of Texas.
Right.
And that's something for Texans, and also, yellow rose means loyalty. That was it, man. And she hasn't, even though she's in Montana right now and I'm here, we haven't been apart from that moment.
That's a lovely story. Congratulations on that.
I'm a lucky man.
Yes, you are. And she's a lucky gal, too, by the way.
Well, maybe so. I don't know. I'm a handful, but...
Yeah, so I've heard, and I want to talk about that side of Peter Fonda, but I have a break waiting. We'll continue with Mr. Fonda, whose book is called Don't Tell Dad. We'll be joined by you on the toll-free after these messages. Peter Fonda, whose newest autobiography is called Don't Tell Dad. Here is Julian on the toll-free in Atlanta. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hi, Julian.
We need you back on the radio here.
Well, the radio days are behind me for the time being, Julian, but perhaps sometime in the future.
Okay. Mr. Fonda, I wanted to ask you, what did you tell your daughter Bridget about choosing acting as a career, and could you tell us about your friend David Harb?
Well, I don't know about David yet, but I'll tell you about Bridget. She graduated from high school, and I had promised my children that I would be at their graduations, and I was there. And walking arm in arm with her, she said, "Dad, I want to be an actor." And I said, "Don't ever say that again." "Dad, it's a verb, not a noun. Why are you going to study acting?" And she said, "Here or there." I said, No, that's Tanning 101, and that's the theory of Tanning 101. "No, you're going to go to Princeton or Yale or..." "Oh, Dad, I can't. Dad, it's my graduation." I said, "Well, you're going to go to NYU, and the reason I'm going like this is because Needle Park is right there. This is where all the heroin junkies land, but you're going to be closest to being at the theater to see the wildest, newest type of plays, get an everybody's student film, and take a course acting off campus." That's what she did, and the rest speaks for itself. Now, who is David Hart? Somehow this name is zipping right through.
Wasn't David college? Wasn't he in school with you in Nebraska?
Well, there's the saying: if you remember the '50s, you weren't there. Everybody thinks it's...
Is that name still zipping around?
It's dental floss. I'm going back and forth quickly. Did we try to blow up a bus station? Was that one of the things, or was it when I froze up the parking meters?
I think it was in drama class with you, or in the drama club there.
David Harry.
David Harb. He was later a broker with Merrill Lynch in L.A.
No, it's flying over the head.
Hey, Julian,
No, sorry about that.
Julian, I'll tell you, Julian, 1 out of 2 is not bad at this hour of the night, okay? And especially with this crowd, Julian. 1 out of 2 is really, really good.
I thank you both, and I wish you both great success.
Julian, thanks for calling, my friend, and thanks for watching.
All right. Good night.
All right, bye-bye now. As long as we're on the subject here of memory loss, when was the first time that you experienced the delights or pleasures of the evil weed?
Oh, God, it was hysterical. I was in London making a film with Carl Foreman called The Victors. Foreman had written and was directing it. And it was a big cast, and I was one of many. I was the young person. And Jim Mitchum, Bob's son, was there. And I'd known Jim for a long time. He came up to me one afternoon on the set, and he said, "Man, I got some great bong. You want some?" And I'm going, "Bong?" "Bong." He said, "You know, I got some great African bong, man." "Bong? Bong. You know?" "No. You know, marijuana." He said, "Pot, weed, grass, marijuana." "Oh, marijuana, no. I'd never heard it called bong before." "Well, anyway, do you want some?" "Sure." "Well, you give me, stop by my room when you get back to the hotel." So I stopped instead. I got a little tiny pipe, corncob pipe. It was like a souvenir thing, like this, and brought it with me. And I told my then wife that we're going to do this. We're going to smoke pot. She was a bit nervous, and I said, "Don't worry about it. It's okay, and it doesn't lead to heroin." I'd never done it myself. Hell, I didn't know it was called grass or anything else. These were all new words for me. The phone rang, and Mitchum said, "Come on downstairs." I went down there, and he handed me this envelope folded lengthwise. He said, "Now, this has to be cleaned." Clean. Clean?
So anyway, you go through all that, and you finally get the corncob pipe out, and you stuff it full.
Oh, full. Absolutely. Stuffed it full. After I cleaned it, I found out you don't clean marijuana with tweezers from a Swiss Army knife. I didn't know what to do. He says, "You move the stem. Are you sure you've done this, Fonda?" "Oh, yeah. It's always been cleaned, you know." I didn't want to be uncool, right? Can't be uncool. So I'm stuffing it, and I said, "Here's how we do it." Only because I knew these jokes that my stepmother, whom I love, I'm going to call Mom too in the book, would tell me these pot jokes. She never smoked it, but she'd tell me the jokes, and they were active jokes. So I knew it had something to do with it. So I was like, and I'd give it to my wife, my ex now, and she smoked cigarettes, but she couldn't take the herb. Cough, 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 lungs flying everywhere. 36, no, this way, darlings, later, I was totally snockered, man. I was in the bed, with all my clothes on, the sheets up to here, laughing my ass off. We can say that, can't we?
Yeah, well, you just did.
We can say penis off. That's
of course
right.
you can, yeah.
Okay, so at any rate, I ordered everything in room service. that I thought I'd like to eat.
That's true.
I ate it all.
Only because there wasn't a Baskin-Robbins nearby, right? Yeah.
Would have done that too?
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Lucky that it was the Carlton Towers. We had actually American food.
Do you have any tuna down there?
It wasn't
Send it up,
boiled
right?
meat. You know, anyway, I ate everything. Pheasant, I don't know how many times. I ate everything on the tray. I thought, this is it. This is how I'll get my father's approval, because this will make me gain weight. I'm eating so damn much. But I didn't smoke it again for a long time. Didn't smoke it at all for a long time. But that one moment just of him looking at me thinking, you haven't done this before, because I didn't know what clean meant. I didn't know.
Let me ask you here about your father. I don't want you tell some wonderful stories. We talked about your dad the last time you were here. But you know, the other night they had all these wonderful Oscar winners from years past. You know, Shirley Temple was there, and Anne Bancroft, and the gentleman Harold Russell from Best Years of Our Lives.
That was so cool.
What does your generation think of the pictures that your father's generation made?
Well, I can tell you what I think of them. For an example, one of my favorite films is My Darling Clementine.
Really?
Ford got away with making an art film, disguising it as a Western. It was fabulous. And I watched it over and over again. I'm fascinated by all of the stuff. And I learned something before I went to shoot The Hired Hand from that film. My daughter and I watch old Preston Sturges movies. And she and I both like romantic comedies. And suddenly we'll find ourselves both going like this at the same time, and then laughing at the same time. And one time I can't remember the name of the picture, Barbara Stanwyck and Gary Cooper was playing this stuffy wig with old guys, and they were making a new dictionary, and she's a gangster's mall, comes in with all this hip talk they got added to the dictionary. I can't remember the name of it. But at one moment, Bridget said, check that out, Dad. Look how deep that focus is. And I thought, this is so cool that my daughter understands deep focus. I mean, Bobby De Niro doesn't understand deep focus. Right?
Anyway, it's good to see you again, young man. Thanks for coming by CBS tonight. And
it's always a pleasure, Tom.
Much success with the book called Don't Tell Dad, and thanks for the joy of Yuli's Gold and a great Academy Award performance.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Peter Fonda is the guest, and again, the autobiography is called Don't Tell Dad. Back with Charles Jaco of Persian Gulf fame after these messages.